All right, guys, Hathaway Property Management, Dave Hathaway. We're doing another update over here at East Eager Street. Getting close to finishing up, getting close to punch out list. So, guys are finishing up painting, flooring. I mean, it's just touch up work with painting stuff. Punch out list items left. You can see what the kitchen floors look like. LVP that we use a gray LVP, similar to what showed you with the Lavale. It just looks like a piece of tile, and it's called Lavale is the color if you're interested. I mean, I don't like that backsplash at all, but it was already there. We didn't take it out, and so we're gonna leave it. But another thing we do, it looks like it's on the outside, just for safety and security. It's always good to have, you can see our still big trash out. I end up purchasing these lights right here for the rear. They're ugly, but people can't steal the light bulbs out of them. They have this sensor up here that detects light. So if they're always on, they're not on during the day. They just pop on during the night. They're super bright. I order them off Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description. They're relatively inexpensive, like $25. So I use those for security purposes, just to have the lights on. Looks like we need to do one more trash out over here. And we'll always put stainless steel appliances in the properties. We find that you get more rents, the pictures look better. It's what people want. They don't really cost that much more. So always a good reason to upgrade to stainless steel. I've already walked through and done a little punch out list before this video to see what we had left. One of the things that I noticed is installing some of the toilets. Our plumber just decided to, and you can see the carpet we installed down here, carpet's in. Our plumber decided to replace the inside of the toilets, which to them it is cost effective. A lot of times people try to save you money, but it ends up costing you money. Ideally, it takes less time and is just a better end product. If you just replace the toilet, the whole toilet and everything, instead of replacing the inside of the toilet. You see, replace some of the lights in there for the smaller lights. And so down here, one of the things that I hadn't touched on, at least I don't think I've touched on, is the fact that we use the same color pattern in properties as much as possible, because you just carry on your materials to the next property. It just makes things easier. The contractors know what to pick up, they know where to get it, and you can develop a materials list. So I have a little spreadsheet that I have all the materials we use, where to find them, how much they cost, what the SKU number is. But then when we're done, and normally we have paint and stuff, because normally we don't use all 5 gallons of the bucket, but we always use white semi-gloss for the trim, and we always use that bare paint down there for the ceilings. And so it just makes it easier. Instead of dragging it back to storage, we can just drag it onto the next project. So I don't know if you guys saw, we ended up keeping all this tile in here because it's hard to take stuff out that is still in good condition. I mean, they did a pretty good job on the tile. They used cheap Home Depot tile, but tile is tile. I mean, sometimes people get carried up in the price and they say it's not as good because it's cheaper, and that's not the case. You have to actually look at the product itself. So here's the steps that they did going up. See, it was just easier. We ended up paying $530 to carpet the steps, and that was labor and materials. So you can see if we would have done it in LVP, it would have been much more expensive. It probably would have been $530 just for the material, and then you'd have to do all maybe even more. Have to do all the bull nose and to make it look right. So we'd end up spending way more, probably, I don't know, $1,200, $1,500. But you can see we're just finishing up. And again, they use the same, looks like whoever had this property before did the same thing that we normally do, which is keep the same materials and carry them throughout. It also gives the property a better look when you're using the same materials throughout. So you're not chopping up the house like you have this LVP, and I'm breaking one of these rules right here. You have this LVP in one room and carpet in another room, and laminate in the third room. When you're going to resale, you want everything to be the same. You want it to feel as much as new construction as possible. So pretty much finished there. There's a few plumbing items, few electrical items to come back and kick up. The window guy did come back and fix this little caulking thing. So good for him. And there's a few little spots that we have to take care of, but that's what the final punch list item is. We're getting appliances coming in tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, also in rental properties, when you look down here, if you ever see this drain down here, what ends up happening is they end up putting a water pan down here, and then the washer and dryer goes into that pan. And then if the washer and dryer ever leaks, instead of it just being a huge mess and it leaking through the ceiling and you have to replace a bunch of drywall, you usually can catch it because you'll see in that pan the water build up and you go, oh, I got a leak in my washer, and fix the washer and it doesn't damage anything else. So that's what that little hole in the floor with the drain there is for. And then that's where it vents out to the exterior. The last thing is, sometimes you do have to make decisions. I totally missed this when I came upstairs. Sometimes you do have to make decisions where we actually chose a slightly different light up here. You can see it's smaller, it's a little bit flush mount. It's the same style with brushed nickel, but for this light, since these ceilings are, I mean, I can touch them with my finger, so they're definitely not, they're probably close to, I don't know, 6 to 7 feet. But with the lights that we normally use, the ones that we use that hang down a little bit and you put light bulbs in, those ones, they can get broken. Those globes are glass. So for that, we just did an LED light up there. It looks great. I like it a lot. So sometimes you got to make decisions like that that are going to be best for the tenant and overall wear of the property. So you don't have to come back and replace lights that were busted, not on purpose, but just carrying couches and stuff up. So, I mean, I think I'm just gonna do one more update to give you guys the final. Once it's done, we'll do a final walkthrough. Hopefully that helped. You can see we also got to paint doors black, but see you guys.